Our first phase of launch was L, look, listen, and learn. For this phase, we were basically looking around and observing for ideas or inspirations for questions that we were going to make. The questions here that you see popping up were kind of my brainstorm. So I started brainstorming on what I was interested in. So I had stars and planets and music, and you'll probably see one other come up. So stars and music are something that I was really interested in, and planets were just something that I thought was really cool. But then my final question was something that combined kind of almost all of it, because my question was, what makes Star Wars a memorable experience? So all of these kind of help make Star Wars a cool, memorable experience. This is the A phase of our launch. This phase is basically just asking a ton of questions, like it says here. So on this chart here that you see, I put down a bunch of things that I know about my question. So for example, this movie started to use more special effects, or this movie had action, sci-fi, romance, and a little bit of comedy in it. Then I also asked questions in this column that were my need to knows. So questions that I needed to kind of find answers for to really understand my main inquiry question. Then in this column over here, next steps, I was writing how I could find out the answer. So for example, one of my need to knows was what makes Star Wars popular. Well, I could read Star Wars blogs and reviews and comments on what people liked. The next phase was U. U was all about understanding. So for this phase, I basically just did more research. So some of the search terms I used was most iconic Star Wars scene. And what I found was kind of obviously when Luke learns that Darth Vader is his father. This scene is pretty a huge Star Wars scene because it involves a lot of emotion, and it will be something that some people will remember a lot better. On Tatooine, the most famous scene is the binary sunset. It's beautiful scenery, which makes it a lot more memorable, and it's also very Earth-like, so it could be something that is on Earth, which also makes it more memorable. Some other search terms I used were what makes Star Wars special and what makes Star Wars bad, or why is Star Wars bad to some people. Over here, I have all my sites that I used in MLA formatting. My movie. The project I'm working right now is all based on Star Wars.
The whole experience in Star Wars is all of it together. The music, the costumes, the lights, the action, everything. So I was like, maybe I could add that to my model. I could add music in the background, I could add lights to it, I could add tiny miniature costumes. And then I kind of thought about this more, and I was like, this still isn't working for me. So I was like, maybe I'll look at the other side of Star Wars. And so that was all about growing up with Star Wars, showing your kids Star Wars. So then I thought, why don't I make a timeline? I could make a timeline of this kid. He starts off really little, and then he grows up. And I could show how he brings his kid, but originally his dad brings him to the movie, and it's him growing up with Star Wars.
This timeline would help show how Star Wars has kind of been passed down through a generation, and how it was passed down through family and friends and seeing it together in the whole experience. This is kind of an idea of what my 3D timeline would look like. So the guy with the purple head would be the main guy, and we would follow his life. And over top of him, we would have the movie and a little description of kind of who he went with, maybe what that movie was about and how he enjoyed it. And then underneath would be the year that movie came out and he went. For the C phase, I started to create stuff. So here are some of my plans that I made. At first, I thought that my people were going to be standing up. And so this is what these first two drawings are. But then I thought it would be better if I displayed it flat. because it would be easier for people to look at. Here is a video of me creating a prototype. This is the final stage, H. So this here is a picture of my final product. And so basically, this is what I accomplished through everything. But I didn't just put this together. It took a lot of tries, and I tried different things. So here, for example, are just a couple. So I started to do it on paper, but the paper was really flimsy and hard to work with. So I found canvas in my house, and it was a lot easier to work with. Another one was these people you see up here. Well, originally they looked like this, not so great. And so when I made this, I decided that I could not use that for my project because it didn't look very good. And so I changed it to these little guys. Also, originally I had everything on a cardboard stage thing, like this, instead of on a flat piece of paper or canvas. This is just a couple things that I improved when I was making my thing, like making my final product.